Well, it kind of goes to what you were talking about in your article this week in the newsletter about keeping it simple and keeping it small.
It's really important because and I don't know exactly, and this is why I want to wrestle the Google guy to the ground and pick his brain. I don't know exactly how Google makes all their specific decisions, but I know when I look at statistics, one of the things that they look at is a bounce rate. It's how many people go to your site and turn around and leave immediately. And I think they calculate that based on whether they click on a second page on your site. So if somebody visits 2 or more sites or pages on your site, then that's sort of a vote for your site. But if they hit your site and then hit the back button and go somewhere else, that's a vote against your site. That's how I imagine that Google's calculating it. So I would want to design a site where people click on at least 1 or 2 pages before they get the information that they want, to get people more engaged in the website, to help them make a quick decision where they want to go, get them engaged, and then it communicates back to Google that tracks all this stuff that they're actually visiting more than 1 page on the site, which makes it look like it was a good hit. And Google's always trying to decide which sites are better, which sites do people enjoy. So how would Google know that? And they would know that through monitoring what people are clicking on and so forth. So I would design the sites with fewer things to click on and get people more interactive with the site, because I think Google will like that better.
I think you're onto something, though. Simpler is better, because a lot of us just don't have a lot of time to wait for something to download or to be able to assimilate a lot of different things on one screen.
And you got to think about the way you make decisions, because you get in a hurry, right? You're trying to search for something and find something, and when you go to a page that has 30 options, you can look at it, become a little bit dumbfounded and confused, and it just suddenly it's as an old boss of mine used to call it, it's now in the too hard to do pile, and it's just when he looks at it and it's a little overwhelming, it's just I haven't got time for this, and he moves away. And so something that's really important that I've been thinking about, is the importance of small computing devices. Okay, I see more and more like gadgets and gizmos and ways to get on the internet, and of course phones are a big one, but there's other little special purpose instant messaging devices and such. And these devices allow people to surf the internet without really using a computer. And then in the middle, there's those little netbooks, that are very small screens, but they have real operating systems. And then there's real computers. And I'm predicting more people are going to move towards the small computing devices for a lot of their internet and email needs, and only go to the bigger devices if they have to write a word processing document or do QuickBooks or Quicken or something like that. So with that said, and with that in mind, more of the people that are visiting your website are going to be doing it with small devices, mobile devices. And Google has been building their operating system, their new Chrome operating system, and they have their phones with it, that Google stuff on the phone. That Google's putting a lot of emphasis on small devices. So mentally, I am predicting the convergence of that Google says small devices are in, and Google's the ones that ranks all of our websites. So I think pretty soon Google's going to be looking at how well does your website work in the world of small device computing. And I think that's going to be a really huge factor that's coming up in the future. So,
well, it's like any other basic in business. When you're marketing a business, you have to couch that marketing pitch to attract the kind of customer you're looking for. And I think that translates into the internet realm in a very, very direct way. It's like being a film producer. Is the film you're putting together going to be shown on the big screen or on the little screen? And same thing for your internet.
Yeah, because, and of course, if you're doing business-to-business types of services, the mobile devices aren't as big of an issue. If you're trying to sell flip-flops to teenage girls, then probably half of them are going to be using some sort of a small device to check what you're doing. And so there's a whole world to explore on what does it take to make a website do well on a small device. And that's an area that, I can't really go into right here, everything to consider, but that's an area each person needs to look at on their own website, because in my case, I'm a business-to-business thing. I'm not nearly as concerned about it. But now that people can listen to radio over phones and other things, in the radio business, you could be thinking, what do we do to handle the mobile world? And if you're selling products to teens or doing some shopping, you better have a mobile solution, because there's people out there with these little devices. And I tell you, I will sit in the car with my little computer or whatever, and I will check out stuff in your store before I even walk in the door. And people do stuff like that these days. So you want to make sure you're compatible with that.
That's very, very good advice.